On this quiet night, a calendar sits on the hotel room table, showing March 31st, 2019. The room is filled with an ambiguous and mysterious atmosphere. Li Xiaoxia sits on the edge of the bed, hands tightly covering his eyes, as if resisting an irresistible force. His heartbeat sounds particularly clear in the quiet night, each beat telling of his nervousness and unease. Stammering loudly, "I'm warning you, don't think I'll give in again," Li Xiaoxia thinks to himself, using alcohol as an excuse too many times now. But his voice sounds so weak, as if it could be swallowed by the surrounding air at any moment. He feels his resolve gradually crumbling, as if pulled by an invisible force. Just then, Xiang Min staggers in. His gaze is distant yet burning, as if he could devour Li Xiaoxia whole. He approaches step by step, murmuring, "Don't go." He suddenly falls in front of Li Xiaoxia. They're extremely close. Before Li Xiaoxia can react, he kisses him without hesitation. Startled, Li Xiaoxia can't speak, can only close his eyes and try to push him away, but to no avail, only able to make a muffled sound. He feels his heart racing, as if it might jump out of his chest. His body trembles, but he can't resist the kiss. He feels his consciousness gradually blurring, as if falling into an inescapable situation. Am I going to fall for another handsome man's body? Li Xiaoxia mocks himself. Li Xiaoxia, I despise you. He feels ashamed of himself, but cannot control his emotions. He feels like a slave driven by desire, unable to break free from these bonds. An urgent ring breaks the dawn. Li Xiaoxia opens his drowsy eyes, suddenly awakens, and sits up, finding himself lying in his own bed. He quickly lifts the covers, discovering Xiang Ming has already disappeared without a trace. Li Xiaoxia feels empty and surprised, thinking he's gone again, and he's back in his own room. He doesn't know if everything he experienced last night was real or just a dream. He picks up his phone to check the calendar. He discovers the time has returned to March 31st, 2019. Again like this, everything starts over. He feels unprecedented anxiety and helplessness, as if all this is foreshadowing something, that something ominous is about to happen. Li Xiaoxia's predicament is indeed bizarre. He's trapped on March 31st. This date seems to have become an endless cycle. He gets up with a gloomy face, mechanically repeating his daily toothbrushing routine. This bizarre incident needs to be traced back to a morning 8 days ago. Time rewinds with his memories. 8 days ago, Li Xiaoxia pressed the water dispenser button. As usual, he got a cup of hot tea from the water dispenser. He took a sip of the hot tea, his face full of satisfaction and happiness, feeling this is how life should be. But he couldn't help feeling puzzled. He didn't know what day it was, why the tea room downstairs was so crowded and packed. Just now, it seemed as if some important personnel changes were taking place. Fortunately, he knew there was another tea room on the CEO's exclusive floor upstairs. Just as he was lost in thought, he suddenly heard footsteps. Li Xiaoxia's heart jumped. Oh no, someone's coming. He hurriedly hid among the nearby plants, temporarily concealing himself. He nervously watched the corridor outside, thinking, have I finally been caught sneaking up here for water? This is the CEO's exclusive floor. Will my perfect image as a model employee be ruined just like this? When Xiang Ming walked in, his movements carried a casual elegance, as if the whole world was under his control. He put down his phone, loosened his tie, letting down all his guards. Then suddenly he started dancing to burn my calories, his movements so light and cheerful. Li Xiaoxia, who was hiding by the plants to avoid being discovered sneaking water on the CEO's exclusive floor, suddenly discovered an unspeakable secret. Xiang Ming's sudden behavior made his eyes widen, completely unable to understand what the CEO was doing. The CEO was still oblivious, continuing to move his agile body. Li Xiaoxia watched the CEO before him, that high and mighty CEO in their eyes, and couldn't help but let out a laugh, causing the plants in front of him to shake. However, this sound caught Xiang Ming's attention. He stopped dancing and turned around. His gaze locked directly onto Li Xiaoxia's position. He gently pushed aside the plants, shouting, "Who's there?" only to find Li Xiaoxia crouching behind the plants. Li Xiaoxia smiled awkwardly. At that moment, their eyes met, as if time had frozen still. Xiangmin quickly walked towards Li Xiaoxia, suddenly pinning him against the wall. Though his movement was sudden, his tone was very gentle. He leaned close to his ear and softly asked, "Did you see everything?" Li Xiaoxia's heart instantly raced faster. He felt his cheeks beginning to burn. He quickly covered his face, explaining loudly, "No, I didn't see anything." His voice echoed throughout the room, trembling with nervousness. Xiang Ming stood nearby, hands in his pockets, face dark, staring at him lifelessly without saying a word. After Li Xiaoxia finished speaking and saw no reaction, he ran away. He wanted to quickly escape this awkward scene. By the time Xiang Ming reacted, Li Xiaoxia was already at the door. However, at the doorway, he couldn't help but turn back and wave, foolishly saying, "Farewell, hero, until we meet again." Xiang Min sighed with a long face, his mood seemingly complex. As he looked down, his attention was caught by a cup. He squatted down and picked it up. The name Li Xiaoxia was clearly visible on the cup. He remained silent for a moment. Then his lips curved slightly upward, menacingly pronouncing the name on it, grinning as if he would devour it the next second. On a sunny day, in the company building's corridor, there was a knock on the CEO's office door. Li Xiaoxia's voice came from outside, introducing himself as the newly transferred assistant. He sighed, muttering to himself while knocking, "First I lost my thermos, then met a strange person, and now I've been assigned to the new CEO. Just my terrible luck. I feel like banging my head against the wall." And what he thought he actually did, as he was banging his head, making thumping sounds, Xiang Min inside heard the knocking and said, "Come in." Li Xiaoxia was startled by the voice, feeling it was somehow familiar. He pushed open the door and immediately spotted his cup sitting on the new CEO's desk. He thought, "This is bad. How did my cup end up here?" Xiang Ming, with his back turned, darkly repeated Li Xiaoxia's earlier words in a sarcastic tone. I didn't see anything. Farewell, hero, until we meet again." His voice carried a hint of mockery. Li Xiaoxia froze on the spot, awkwardly responding, "Yes, yes." His heart felt like it had been struck by a boulder as he suddenly realized that this person was the same strange figure he had accidentally encountered this morning, dancing to burn my calories. The next second, Xiang Ming turned around, and Li Xiaoxia's eyes widened in shock. He never would have thought that this Mr. Calories who had amused him this morning would turn out to be his new immediate superior. In his surprise, he blurted out, "Aren't you the Calories guy from this morning?" Xiang Ming smiled and extended his hand, saying, "Let me introduce myself. I'm Xiang Ming, not some hero, but your immediate superior." Then he stood up, leaning across the desk, almost touching Li Xiaoxia. With a mischievous smile, he pronounced each word clearly. "Hello, Li Xiaoxia." As he spoke, he slowly walked over, asking, "Are you afraid of me?" As he approached, Li Xiaoxia's face turned red, feeling an involuntary surge of nervousness. While backing away, he stammered that this wasn't the case, though inside he was already crying. He wondered if he would be silenced forever. His feet unconsciously kept stepping backward, until he backed up to the sofa. Losing his balance, he thought, "This is bad." Before he could react, Li Xiaoxia fell onto the sofa. Looking up at the towering Xiang Ming, he felt a wave of helplessness. He worried about being silenced. After all, he had just witnessed Xiang Ming's unknown side. However, Xiang Ming showed no signs of anger. He maintained his smile. He said softly, "Is that so?" Li Xiaoxia was now completely flustered, filled with fear and anxiety. He kept repeating, "I'm done for," in his mind, afraid that accidentally intruding on Xiang Ming's private life would bring trouble. He quickly knelt on the ground, holding his head in regret, shouting, "General Manager, I was wrong. I shouldn't have seen your private life. Please don't hold it against a nobody like me." At this moment, Xiang Ming covered his mouth and laughed, thinking what a fool he was. Xiang Ming's next words brought relief to Li Xiaoxia, who was nearly melting on the ground. He actually wanted to remind him about the afternoon shareholders meeting, and that as his assistant, he needed to organize this quarter's data for Hike Technology. He needed the documents before the meeting. Li Xiaoxia was stunned for a moment after hearing this, then could hardly believe it. This meant his head was safe, and he hadn't even been fired. He let out a long sigh of relief. In the CEO's office, Li Xiaoxia was reporting to Xiang Ming, stating that he had organized the files, and they were now printing. He sat at the computer, looking very serious and professional, as an assistant should. When he tried to print the documents, he found the printer wasn't responding. Then a window popped up on the computer, saying unable to connect to printer. Li Xiaoxia stared at the printer, speechlessly. The room fell silent. With no other choice, He could only slap the printer several times, trying to get it working again through this method. Unfortunately, his efforts didn't result in the printer functioning normally. Instead, it caused a crack in the printer's casing. Li Xiaoxia was dumbfounded. Looking at the printer before him, his heart was filled with anxiety and unease. He knew time was tight, and if he couldn't print the documents in time, it might affect the afternoon's shareholders' meeting. So he hurriedly called the general manager, explaining with a trembling voice, "General manager, the office printer seems to have a small malfunction." However, Xiang Ming on the other end didn't offer a solution, instead saying something that gave him an even bigger headache. There were only 10 minutes left until the meeting. Li Xiaoxia's face turned pale upon hearing this. From the other end of the phone came an unhurried voice. "Li Xiaoxia, you have 9 minutes left to prepare the meeting materials." Hearing this voice, Li Xiaoxia felt utterly helpless. He said he would go downstairs to print right away. He hurried downstairs, thinking to himself that only 8 minutes remained, and he needed to hurry to complete the task before the meeting started. He rushed through the corridor, racing down the stairs. Arriving at the printer downstairs, Li Xiaoxia hurriedly prepared to print the documents. Time was tight, and the task was important. He knew how crucial this meeting was. Li Xiaoxia placed the documents in the printer, eyes fixed on the machine, hoping for the documents to print smoothly. In his mind, Xiang Ming's stern and cold voice echoed like a demon's curse, making him feel incredibly pressured. 6 minutes left. The printer made a clicking sound, and the documents printed successfully. Li Xiaoxia eagerly grabbed the documents and ran towards the meeting room, shouting "Aya" all the way. His heart was full of anxiety and unease, thinking there were only 3 minutes left. "Come on, Li Xiaoxia. Face the challenge, don't give up." Outside the meeting room, Xiang Ming stood quietly, hands in his pockets, wearing a calm smile. His lips curved slightly upward, softly saying, "1 minute left." However, before he could finish speaking, Li Xiaoxia had already come to an abrupt stop right in front of him. Xiang Ming was stunned, maintaining his position of checking his watch, seemingly shocked by his speed. Li Xiaoxia, breathing heavily, handed the documents to Xiang Ming, saying with a trembling voice, "General Manager, I've organized the relevant data you requested." Xiang Ming glanced at him calmly and said, "Follow me in." After entering the meeting room, Xiang Ming sat in the chairman's seat at the front and began carefully reviewing the documents in his hands. He calmly stated that according to his knowledge, Hike Technology's third-quarter data wasn't as good as everyone had claimed. Li Xiaoxia silently nodded in agreement, as he had also noticed this issue while organizing the files earlier. However, at that moment, his gaze suddenly fell on another document in his hands. His hand stopped flipping through the papers, and his face showed an expression of shock. Looking at the document in his hands, he slowly tightened his grip. The document clearly displayed embarrassing words. Xiang Ming nervously grabbed the sleeve of the man in front of him, stood on tiptoes, and offered his kiss. Seeing the content on this document, he felt his heart being overwhelmed by intense fear and anxiety, as if the whole world was collapsing. He screamed internally in panic. "What is this?" He desperately wanted to tear up the document in his hands the next second. Li Xiaoxia froze on the spot, as if struck by an invisible lightning bolt, unable to move. Countless thoughts raced through his mind, each making his heart beat faster, almost jumping out of his chest. The words "I'm finished" kept echoing in his mind. These words became his only thought at that moment. However, after the brief panic, a thought suddenly emerged in Li Xiaoxia's mind. This is ridiculous. Who would be so bold to write a BL novel with the general manager as the main character and bring it to the company? Is this heaven's way of destroying me? However, just as he was feeling desperate, he noticed that Xiang Ming in his seat remained unusually calm, reviewing the documents in his hands without any change in expression or heartbeat, seemingly unaffected by the content. He calmly analyzed the third quarter's data, stating that Hike Technology's internal restructuring trend was urgent. Li Xiaoxia's heart was filled with anxiety and unease. He couldn't imagine Xiang Ming's reaction after seeing this document. All his documents were printed together, so Xiang Ming must have seen it. However, Xiang Ming seemed to have no reaction at all, which made him even more uneasy. Just then, an employee gathered courage to express their thoughts. But before they could continue, Xiang Ming gave them a sharp glance. Without waiting for them to finish, he spoke with confidence and determination, stating that since he had taken over Hike Technology, he naturally had confidence in developing its future better and better. With his hands crossed near his mouth and leaning on the table, he asked in a dominating manner, "Does anyone have any objections?" The atmosphere in the meeting room instantly became tense, but everyone unanimously expressed they had no objections to the new CEO's performance. However, Li Xiaoxia was amazed at this moment. He hadn't expected Xiang Ming to memorize all the data. This made him genuinely admire Xiang Ming. In Li Xiaoxia's eyes, Xiang Ming seemed to be radiating a dazzling light at this moment. Could he be a genius? He felt a surge of genuine admiration rising in his heart. His eyes sparkled like stars. Looking at Xiang Ming, his heart beat faster and faster. He shyly thought, "Oh my God, is this the charm of a man who works seriously?" He felt like Xiang Ming was radiating light all over. Li Xiaoxia held his face, clearly looking love-struck. The meeting room door opened. The meeting was over. Everyone walked out, still muttering complaints. Finally, it's over. Li Xiaoxia cleaned up the documents on the table. Thinking now that everyone was gone, he should hurry and slip away. He glanced at Xiang Ming, who was still reviewing documents, silently chanting, "Don't see me, don't see me." However, just as Li Xiaoxia turned around, he said to Xiang Ming, "General Manager, if there's nothing else, I'll take my leave." Before he could finish, he heard Xiang Ming's gloomy voice. "Stop, Li Xiaoxia, come to my office." Xiang Ming glared at Li Xiaoxia with a dark expression. Li Xiaoxia felt an electric sensation throughout his body, filled with anxiety and unease. He thought his career was truly finished this time. He could only helplessly reply, "All right." Then he followed Xiang Ming out. Xiang Ming walked ahead with his hands in his pockets, steps steady, while Li Xiaoxia followed behind, appearing somewhat flustered. He hurriedly kept up with Xiang Ming's pace, trying to explain, "General Manager, I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to. I don't know why that document ended up like that." His voice trembled, clearly full of fear. The thought, "This time I'm really going to be fired," kept echoing in Li Xiaoxia's mind. He watched Xiang Ming's back, his heart full of anxiety and unease. Suddenly, Xiang Ming turned around. His gaze was sharp and cold, staring directly at Li Xiaoxia. He coldly asked Li Xiaoxia, not intentional, but Li Xiaoxia was lost in his thoughts at that moment, not noticing that Xiang Ming had turned around and stopped, resulting in them colliding directly. Xiang Ming now relentlessly accused, saying he saw with his own eyes that Li Xiaoxia bumped into his arms. It must have been intentional, right? His tone was full of mockery and provocation. Li Xiaoxia opened his mouth wanting to say something, but couldn't get the words out. He felt trapped in a desperate situation. Xiang Ming was already targeting him. Li Xiaoxia's heart tightened. He knew he had to find a way to divert Xiang Ming's attention. The two walked forward slowly, with Li Xiaoxia anxiously wondering what to do. Suddenly wondering what to do, he noticed the coffee on the table, and an idea struck him. Li Xiaoxia quickly stepped forward, picked up the coffee from the table, and handed it to Xiang Ming. Forcing a charming smile, he said, "General Manager, this is today's fresh coffee. Please have some coffee first to calm down. I'll explain everything slowly." However, before he could finish speaking, his grip slipped, and the coffee instantly fell. The hot coffee went straight onto Xiang Ming's pants, immediately soaking a large area. At this moment, both people froze in place in the office. They stared at each other, as if time had stopped at that moment. The coffee's aroma mixed with the awkward atmosphere, plunging the entire office into silence. Xiang Ming's anger was evident. With a dark face, he spoke each word deliberately. "Li Xiaoxia, you." Li Xiaoxia trembled at Xiang Ming's tone. He immediately realized he had made another huge mistake. He hurriedly stepped forward, trying to explain that it wasn't intentional. Li Xiaoxia knelt on the ground apologetically, carefully using tissues to wipe the coffee stains on Xiang Ming's pants. However, at that moment, there was a knock on the door. Manager Sun pushed the door open and walked in, saying, "Xiaoxia, since you've just been transferred to the general manager's office today, here are the new documents I'm bringing you." However, when he saw the scene before him, his mouth gaped open in surprise. "Xiang Ming, Li Xiaoxia, what are you doing?" Manager Sun realized he might have seen something he shouldn't have. He quickly changed his tone. "Xiaoxia, since you're not in your office, I'll just leave first." "Ha, I didn't see anything." As he spoke, he left the office laughing, with an obvious, "I understand" expression on his face. Li Xiaoxia quickly turned around to explain, "Manager Sun, let me explain. It's not what it looks like." But the person had already closed the door and left, giving him no chance to explain. Li Xiaoxia helplessly knelt to the side, muttering, "They're going to misunderstand." Xiang Ming walked over with steady steps. His gaze lingered for a moment on the petrified Li Xiaoxia. Then he spoke coldly. "More important than their misunderstanding is my ruined suit. The culprit, Miss Li Xiaoxia." Xiang Ming continued with crossed arms. "This was the custom suit I planned to wear to tonight's party. It cost 200,000. Miss Li Xiaoxia, card or bank transfer? Li Xiaoxia's eyes widened. He couldn't believe his ears. 200,000 for a suit? Are you robbing me? Xiang Ming remained unmoved, slowly approaching Li Xiaoxia. With a dark face, he said, "What? You don't plan to pay?" Li Xiaoxia knelt on the ground guiltily, waving his hands, saying, "That's not it." A slight smirk appeared on Xiang Ming's face. He said, "Then about what happened in the break room this morning, and just now with the document disclosure." Before he could finish, Li Xiaoxia hastily replied, I'll pay, okay?" Xiang Ming nodded satisfactorily. Taking advantage of Li Xiaoxia's distraction, he pulled out his phone from Li's pocket. Li Xiaoxia was startled and shouted, "What are you doing with my phone?" While pressing buttons on the phone, Xiang Ming explained, "To ensure the 200,000 doesn't grow legs and run away tonight, I need to keep your contact information to know your whereabouts at all times." After speaking, he casually tossed Li Xiaoxia's phone back. Li Xiaoxia quickly reached out with both hands to catch his phone. Angrily watching Xiang Ming's retreating figure, he protested, asking him to clarify if he looked like someone who would skip out on payment. Xiang Ming walked away with his hands in his pockets. With a dark face, he turned back to Li Xiaoxia and said, "Regardless of whether you're someone who would skip payment or not, as punishment for today's meeting document disclosure, you'll stand outside the general manager's office," and read aloud the entire incorrect meeting document. Li Xiaoxia's eyes widened in disbelief, barely able to trust his ears. "What? Read aloud? Outside the general manager's office?" His voice trembled as he tried to confirm this absurd punishment. Without turning back, Xiang Ming simply said, "If I were you, I'd start reading now. That way you might finish before the end of the workday." Li Xiaoxia was both helpless and speechless. Looking at Xiang Ming's cold back, he asked, "General Manager, you're not joking, are you?" But Xiang Ming completely ignored Li Xiaoxia's words. Poor Li Xiaoxia had no choice but to stand outside the general manager's office, reading aloud the incorrect meeting document from the afternoon. Xiang Ming had never imagined he would fall for a man. This feeling made him restless. Li Xiaoxia's loud recitation drew the attention of colleagues in the office. Li Xiaoxia ignored them and continued reciting. Could this be the charm of love? Just then, a familiar voice interrupted Li Xiaoxia's recitation. "Xiaoxia, what are you reading?" Li Xiaoxia angrily turned around and said with a strange smile, "I'm praising General Manager Xiang Ming's love story. Haven't you heard?" Li Xiaoxia clenched his fists, cursing that bastard Xiang Ming repeatedly in his mind. If he ever got his hands on him, he would make him understand the meaning of suffering. The colleagues nearby shuddered in fear. Li Xiaoxia was completely unaware of how terrifying his expression was. In the office, time quietly slipped away, and it was soon 20:34 in the evening. Li Xiaoxia was still reciting. And so, Xiang Ming and his husband lived happily ever after. At this point, Li Xiaoxia collapsed into the chair, as if all strength had been drained from his body. Breathing heavily, he muttered, "Finally finished." Li Xiaoxia tiredly leaned back in the office chair, tilted his head back, and sighed deeply. His heart was full of complaints. He wondered if that bastard had left yet. He turned his head, trying to peek at the office situation. As expected, the office was completely empty. Li Xiaoxia thought to himself, he really left. This was good, as he could quickly pack up and leave too. After a day of anxiety, his mood was now indescribably light and happy. However, at this moment, he suddenly realized that if the general manager had already left, the general manager's private elevator would be inaccessible to others. This thought filled Li Xiaoxia with deep despair. He helplessly knelt on the ground, his heart full of resentment. He desperately hoped this wasn't true, hoping for some way out. He thought about it and decided to head towards the stairwell. Fortunately, it was after work hours. If he could sneak down through the stairs, probably no one would notice him or mock him. Li Xiaoxia walked anxiously through the empty corridor, worrying about the 200,000 debt. He wondered how he would repay it. Just then, a conversation drifted out from a nearby room. They mentioned Xiang Ming. They were discussing how hike technology, which Xiang Ming had just taken over, had its core data stolen. Hearing voices, Li Xiaoxia turned his head, curious to hear who was talking. He was surprised to hear Xiang Ming's name. The conversation in the room continued. One person said, "Anshi, you've done well this time. Rest assured, Huangfu International's doors will always be open for you." Li Xiaoxia looked around in disbelief, unable to believe what he had overheard. He pondered, Huangfu International, Hike IT's biggest competitor. Could there be a mole in Hike? This thought terrified him. So, Li Xiaoxia lightened his footsteps, trying not to make any sound, afraid of alerting them. He knew he had accidentally stumbled upon a big secret. If they discovered he was eavesdropping, wouldn't they silence him? Why was today so unfortunate? Li Xiaoxia tried to move his stiff limbs. However, at that moment, his phone suddenly rang in his bag, breaking the silence. The people in the room heard the sound outside and immediately shouted alertly, "Who's there?" Li Xiaoxia knew things had gone wrong and was startled. His mouth gaped open. "Oh no, I've been discovered." So he hurriedly ran away, his heart pounding as if it would jump out of his chest. He was breathing heavily, thinking that although he had hung up the phone, he was still worried about being caught up to. Li Xiaoxia knew he was in danger now. If caught, he would surely be silenced. Thinking of this, he broke into a cold sweat and quickened his escape. He just wanted to leave this dangerous place quickly and get away from this terrible secret. At this point, taking the stairs was clearly impossible. Li Xiaoxia was anxious. The only option now seemed to be the stairs. Li Xiaoxia made up his mind and pushed open the stairwell door. He absolutely couldn't be caught. Li Xiaoxia ran down the stairs and finally reached the ground floor. Out of breath, he supported himself with his hands on his knees, thinking, that was exhausting. But with my half-marathon champion qualities, they probably won't catch up easily. He picked up his phone to see who had caused him to flee for his life. On the phone screen, Xiang Ming's name was clearly displayed as the caller. A flash of anger crossed Li Xiaoxia's eyes. He gripped the phone tightly, cursing internally, "So it was you. Damn it, it's all your fault, you bastard Xiang Ming. It's all because of you that I ended up in this situation." The phone kept ringing. Li Xiaoxia gritted his teeth in anger. "How dare you even call me?" He furiously pressed the answer button. He picked up the phone and roared, "What do you want calling me so late?" Xiang Ming's voice came through the phone. "I'm at the Golden Hall now. Come pick me up. I want to see you before 9:30. Li Xiaoxia, already angry, became even more furious hearing this. He immediately retorted, 9:30? It's already 9 o'clock. How can I make it? Besides, it's after work hours. I don't think I'm obligated to pick you up, Manager Xiang." He thought to himself, "Why should I come just because you say so?" However, Xiang Ming's words pierced straight through Li Xiaoxia's heart. "I was thinking of letting Miss Li deduct some of your debt. Since that's the case, about that 200,000 you owe me." Hearing this, Li Xiaoxia's attitude immediately changed, becoming extremely respectful. "I'm sorry. It's absolutely my duty to meet you at this time. Please wait. I'm coming right away." Li Xiaoxia thought to himself, "This is about 200,000. For that amount, Li Xiaoxia, can be flexible." At that moment, a mysterious man was standing quietly behind Li Xiaoxia. He held a phone, speaking softly to someone on the other end. "Yes, I see him," the man said quietly, his gaze fixed on Li Xiaoxia. As the evening lights came on, Li Xiaoxia hurriedly arrived at the meeting place with Xiang Ming. However, he was stopped by security. "Sorry, no entry without an invitation," the security guard said sternly. Li Xiaoxia felt embarrassed and anxious. He pleaded with the security guard, "Please let me in. I'm really here to pick someone up." But the security guard ignored his explanation and walked away, saying, "No entry without an invitation. Besides, dressed like that? The party's almost over. Just wait here." Li Xiaoxia was confused. What was wrong with how he was dressed? He looked down at his outfit. While not fancy, it was presentable. He persisted in pleading with the security guard, hoping he would make an exception and let him in. Though he appeared calm and gentle on the surface, he was extremely anxious inside. It was almost 9:30. How could he possibly get in? Suddenly, a voice like a savior came from behind. "Just let him come in with me." Li Xiaoxia turned around puzzled, wanting to see who was speaking up for him, wondering if it was someone he knew. A gentle stranger walked over, speaking softly to the security guard. "Here's my invitation." "He's with me." Seeing the invitation, the security guard quickly responded, "Oh, all right. Please go in." Li Xiaoxia turned to look at this stranger, feeling both grateful and confused. Was the person who just invited him in really talking about him? The stranger nodded and looked at Li Xiaoxia gently, saying, "That's right, just come in with me." In the hall corridor, Li Xiaoxia kept thanking his savior. The man smiled slightly, saying it was nothing to worry about. Li Xiaoxia couldn't hide his joy, feeling that good luck was unstoppable when it came. The two walked and chatted, laughing like old friends. The man curiously asked him, "You said you're here to find someone. Won't our chat delay you?" Li Xiaoxia immediately assured him it wouldn't, thinking they would understand. He was already extremely impressed by the man before him, thinking to himself, how could there be such a gentle, considerate, and understanding man in the world? The man smiled at Li Xiaoxia and said, "That's good then." His smile was like a spring breeze, warm and friendly, stirring unknown emotions in Li Xiaoxia's heart. Li Xiaoxia was overjoyed. Could his spring finally be arriving? He couldn't help but imagine a future with this gentle man, a shy and expectant smile appearing on his face. Just then, a hand suddenly patted his shoulder from behind. A familiar voice from behind called out his name, Li Xiaoxia. His heart tightened, sensing something wasn't right. He smiled awkwardly as Xiang Ming leaned forward from behind and calmly said, "You're late." Li Xiaoxia turned his head, saying with a trembling voice, "Manager Xiang." Xiang Ming was swaying as he stood, clearly drunk. Indeed, he told Li Xiaoxia with a troubled expression that he was drunk and needed Li Xiaoxia to take him home. His address was Tower A, Tianjibei. Li Xiaoxia thought to himself, "Don't just blurt out your home address when you're drunk," while rushing forward to cover Xiang Ming's mouth with both hands. Then he whispered, "Manager Xiang, this isn't the office. Are you sure you want to say that so loudly?" At this point, the drunk Xiang Ming was still trying to explain something with muffled sounds, but couldn't speak with Li Xiaoxia's hands firmly covering his mouth. Li Xiaoxia pushed away the approaching Xiang Ming, warning him not to come closer. However, Xiang Ming didn't seem to hear and kept moving closer. Li Xiaoxia could no longer keep his hand over his mouth. Xiang Ming whined, "I don't care, you have to take me home." Li Xiaoxia turned his head, his heart pounding like a frightened deer. He begged Xiang Ming not to come closer, but unexpectedly, Xiang Ming fell into his arms. He had fallen asleep. Li Xiaoxia patted him to confirm he was really sleeping, then turned to the mysterious man and said awkwardly, "Sorry you had to see that." The man replied it was fine. "Go ahead with what you need to do," he said, his tone showing understanding and tolerance. Seeing Xiang Ming sleeping so deeply, Li Xiaoxia had to tell the man, "I'm sorry, sir. I need to take my boss home first. I'll thank you properly another time. Goodbye." He said this while supporting Xiang Ming, preparing to leave. Watching Li Xiaoxia struggling to carry Xiang Ming away, the man muttered to himself, "Goodbye. We'll meet again." His gaze held an inexplicable determination and expectation. On the way back, Li Xiaoxia complained while dragging Xiang Ming, "I can't believe his alcohol tolerance is so poor. If I hadn't mercifully agreed to take him home, he'd probably be lying on the street." Despite his complaints, Li Xiaoxia was still careful to ensure Xiang Ming's safety. The drunk Xiang Ming was completely out of it, his entire weight pressing against Li Xiaoxia, frustrating him. He couldn't help but curse. Was he raised on pig feed? How is he so heavy? He struggled to support Xiang Ming, taking difficult steps forward. Xiang Ming was too drunk to respond to Li Xiaoxia's complaints, only making unintelligible mumbling sounds. His head swayed back and forth on Li Xiaoxia's shoulder, making walking even more difficult. Finally getting Xiang Ming home, Li Xiaoxia sighed in relief. Looking at Xiang Ming lying on the couch, complex emotions welled up inside him. He said his task was complete and reminded him to definitely remember to cancel his debt. Xiang Ming slowly opened his eyes, turning to look at Li Xiaoxia, his face still flushed from drinking. His gaze was hazy, making Li Xiaoxia feel uncomfortable. He grumbled irritably, "Why are you staring at me? I'm not your housekeeper." Then Li Xiaoxia sighed and muttered, "Fine, I'll finish being nice and help you change clothes before you sleep." As he approached, he warned, "Just to be clear, I'm only changing you into pajamas." However, before Li Xiaoxia's hand could reach Xiang Ming, his wrist was grabbed. Li Xiaoxia's eyes widened in surprise as Xiang Ming pulled him down. They found themselves face to face. The atmosphere suddenly became intimate. Li Xiaoxia covered his face shyly, wondering what was happening, while Xiang Ming moved closer, pulling at his own shirt. As Xiang Ming got closer, Li Xiaoxia stammered, "Wait, Manager Xiang? Xiang Ming?" Xiang Ming's face was almost touching Li Xiaoxia's. He looked at the man before him with a red face, thinking he couldn't resist anymore. Just then, Xiang Ming kissed him. Li Xiaoxia was caught off guard by the sudden kiss, wanting to resist but could only make muffled sounds, thinking silently. Oh no! On the bed, Xiang Ming held Li Xiaoxia's head, kissing him tenderly. The room was instantly filled with an intimate atmosphere, as if they were the only two people left in the world. They continued like this for who knows how long. Li Xiaoxia had a bad feeling. Why did it feel like midnight was taking so long to arrive? On a quiet morning, Xiaoxia was suddenly awakened by an urgent alarm clock. He was still immersed in last night's absurd dream. In the dream, he had screamed "No, don't" at the top of his lungs, then suddenly sat up with his heart racing. After calming down, he lifted the blanket and was relieved to find his clothes still on. It was all just a nightmare. He sighed in relief and lay back down, but ripples of emotion stirred in his heart. He couldn't help but recall that embarrassing dream, his cheeks slightly flushing. Li Xiaoxia began to wonder why he suddenly had such an inappropriate dream. He asked himself, did he really yearn for love's sweetness that much? Had he become so desperate for men? This thought surprised and confused him as he reflected on his life. Though busy, his life was fulfilling and his friends were great. But he hadn't dated in a long time. Perhaps this was his inner desire for love manifesting in his dreams. However, Li Xiaoxia knew dreams don't necessarily reflect reality. He told himself not to worry too much. It was just a dream. Though a ripple remained in his heart, Li Xiaoxia quickly adjusted his mindset to face the new day. Looking at the calendar, he noticed it was just one day until April, lamenting how the first quarter of the year had slipped away. However, a strange feeling crept over him. He felt certain he had already turned past the 30th on the calendar. This unusual sensation made him suspicious, and he began pondering the reason behind it. At the company, colleagues greeted him as usual. "Morning, Xiaoxia." He smiled back, saying good morning. However, the confusion about the calendar remained like a fog in his mind. Colleagues exchanged greetings and chatted about daily matters, their eyes gleaming with gossip. "Hey Xiaoxia, have you heard? Hike is getting a new president soon." The colleague lowered their voice, creating an air of mystery. Xiaoxia, holding documents, looked up curiously. "A new president?" The colleague immediately went into fan mode, gesturing enthusiastically. "Yes, I heard he's a returned overseas graduate, young and handsome. Just like the perfect male lead from a TV drama. If only he would notice me, my life would be perfect." Xiaoxia was speechless at his colleague's enthusiastic gossip and just wanted to escape. He nodded perfunctorily. "Yes, you're right." He turned towards the break room. However, when he reached the doorway, he was stunned by what he saw. A man was dancing to "Burn My Calories" with exaggerated movements and expressions. What shocked Xiaoxia more was that this man looked exactly like the wild man from his dream last night. At this moment, Xiang Ming noticed Xiaoxia. He stopped and looked at this sudden stranger, shouting, "Who are you? Why are you here?" His voice was loud and serious. Xiaoxia was terrified, his mind in chaos. He couldn't explain and could only run away, leaving only a sorry goodbye echoing in the air. However, in his panic, he dropped his water cup. It rolled to Xiang Ming's feet. He bent down to pick it up and saw Li Xiaoxia clearly written on it. "Li Xiaoxia." "Ooh, interesting." He watched Xiaoxia's retreating figure, his mind full of mischievous thoughts. The fleeing Li Xiaoxia suddenly stopped. He felt an inexplicable confusion about what had just happened. Why was that sense of copyright Jia Vu so strong? And that man from his dream, the feeling was so real, as if they had truly crossed paths before. The more he thought about it, the hotter his face became. He fanned himself vigorously, trying to calm down. "It's just a dream, just a dream." He kept repeating to himself, trying to convince himself it was all just his imagination. He ruffled his hair, trying to sort out his confused thoughts. How could he be thinking about these things in broad daylight? The organization would surely be disappointed in him. Suddenly, someone tapped his shoulder, interrupting his thoughts. "Xiaoxia, what are you thinking about? You've been transferred to be the general manager's assistant." The colleague's words caught Li Xiaoxia off guard. "What?" he asked in surprise. Other colleagues, hearing this good news, gathered around to congratulate him on this rare opportunity. "How do you know the new general manager?" everyone asked curiously. "No, I really didn't do anything." Li Xiaoxia waved his hands helplessly, trying to explain. However, his colleagues didn't believe him. They thought Xiaoxia must have some special relationship with the general manager. "Xiaoxia, you're really something, getting to know such a handsome guy so quickly. You're so lucky to get such a good opportunity." Such voices rose one after another, making Xiaoxia feel embarrassed. Suddenly, a colleague said, "This transfer came directly from the general manager. Quick, pack your things and prepare to move upstairs." Hearing this, Li Xiaoxia slammed the table. "What?" He looked at that colleague in shock, his heart full of doubt and unease. "Transfer." Li Xiaoxia stood at Xiang Ming's office door with his belongings, feeling extremely nervous. He tremblingly pushed open the door and said with a shaky voice, "Manager Xiang." "Hello." Xiang Ming looked up and found him greeting with a folder covering his face. This was the first time he'd seen such a scene. He raised his eyebrows curiously. But Li Xiaoxia was beyond caring about that now. In his mind, only the words, "I'm done for," kept echoing. While he was lost in these thoughts, Xiang Ming's hand reached for his folder and suddenly pulled it away, asking, "What's wrong, Li Xiaoxia? Is there something dirty on my face? That makes you uncomfortable looking at me?" Li Xiaoxia laughed awkwardly, quickly shaking his head. No, Manager Xiang, you misunderstand. He thought to himself silently. How would he dare? Seeing him so nervous, Xiang Ming stopped teasing him and said formally, "Well then, there's an important shareholders meeting this afternoon. The meeting documents are ready. Please print them." "Oh, by the way, the printer on this floor is broken. Assistant Li, you'll need to go downstairs to print them. There should still be enough time. Don't disappoint me." Li Xiaoxia was stunned. He asked in disbelief, "What? 15 minutes is too short." Xiang Ming just smiled smugly. "I believe in your abilities. Good luck, Assistant Li." Li Xiaoxia reluctantly took the documents and quickly walked towards the door. He knew this task would be a huge challenge, but he also understood it was an opportunity to prove himself. In the company lobby, Xiaoxia finally found the unused printer. He quickly inserted the meeting minutes and selected the number of copies needed. The printer began working slowly. Xiaoxia watched anxiously, mentally pleading, "Hurry up." With 5 minutes left, the printer finally completed its task. As Xiaoxia gathered the documents to leave, a colleague tried to talk to him, but he hurriedly waved, saying, "I'll vent with you after work. I have to go now," and ran towards Xiang Ming's office. In the office, Xiaoxia neatly placed the documents on Xiang Ming's desk and finally breathed a sigh of relief. He thought he'd made it in time and everything would be fine. However, just then, he suddenly remembered that strange dream where Xiang Ming had torn up his documents. Apparently, because there was an inappropriate content added to the files. Xiaoxia nervously flipped through the documents, afraid that something inappropriate had really been added. Suddenly, his eyes stopped on a white paper that read. Xiang Ming pressed his little assistant against the wall corner, seductively lifted his assistant's chin, and whispered, "You're mine." In the spacious conference room, while the meeting was in full swing, Li Xiaoxia noticed Xiang Ming approaching his direction. His heart jumped, and he instinctively rushed to hide the documents in his hands, secretly relieved at his quick reaction. He thought this way he could avoid disaster. However, his small movements didn't escape Xiang Ming's sharp eyes. He smiled slightly, as if everything was under his control. He turned to everyone in the conference room and said in a loud voice, "Based on what we've discussed, does anyone have any questions? If not, let's adjourn." As he finished speaking, he casually picked up the coffee on the table, then pretended to accidentally spill it on his documents. He smiled at Li Xiaoxia, his tone showing slight helplessness. "Assistant Li, my documents are wet. Let me borrow yours for the summary." Upon hearing this, Li Xiaoxia's heart suddenly tightened. What? His documents? His documents contained that fan fiction about Xiang Ming. Absolutely not. He hurriedly protected the documents with both hands, lying flat on the table, afraid Xiang Ming would snatch them. He stammered to Xiang Ming behind him, these documents." But before he could finish, Xiang Ming quickly reached out, giving him no chance to refuse. He snatched the documents from his hands. As he unfolded them, Xiang Ming's face gradually darkened, as if seeing something unbelievable. His expression was like he'd been struck by lightning, frozen in place. The scene shifts back to the quiet office. Li Xiaoxia sat at his computer, his hands flying over the keyboard. His eyes seemed distant, constantly thinking about yesterday's strange dream. Why did the mysterious man from his dream actually appear? This left him both confused and curious. Thinking about this, Li Xiaoxia suddenly had a bold thought. Could his dreams have prophetic abilities? Just then, a supervisor walked over quickly and called out to the busy Xiaoxia. Hands on hips, he said calmly, "Li Xiaoxia, you've been temporarily assigned as an assistant in the CEO's office for 1 month. If you do well, it'll become permanent. Make sure to do your best." Hearing this, Li Xiaoxia's eyes flashed with surprise, as if struck by lightning. He stood frozen, mouth slightly open, seemingly wanting to say something but not knowing where to start. He thought to himself, why an assistant again? Could it be related to his dream? The scene changes. Li Xiaoxia arrived at the CEO's office door with his belongings. He took a deep breath, his heart filled with anxiety and unease. He secretly wondered if he was called over just for revenge because he saw him dancing awkwardly in the break room. After an intense internal struggle, Li Xiaoxia made up his mind. He thought, whatever happens, happens. Let fate decide. So he gathered his courage and knocked on the office door. "CEO, I'm the new assistant, Li Xiaoxia," he said while knocking. From inside the office came a steady, powerful voice. "Come in." After Li Xiaoxia entered, He saw Xiang Ming sitting at his desk, reviewing a document. Without looking up, he said to Li Xiaoxia, "Why are you so late? Organize this quarter's high technology data. I need the documents before the meeting in 10 minutes. Understood?" Hearing Xiang Ming's words, Li Xiaoxia straightened up, stood tall, and firmly said, "Yes." Then he walked stiffly toward the door. Xiang Ming, watching his rigid back, frowned slightly and couldn't help reminding him, "Wrong direction. It's on the left." Li Xiaoxia, like a robot, mechanically replied, "Yes. Yes." Then, following Xiang Ming's directions, he went to the printer. Looking through the materials in his hands, he muttered to himself, 2 copies of meeting minutes, 2 copies of third quarter data files. As he flipped through, he suddenly paused, looking at one document in his hand, a sense of foreboding rising in his heart. He thought, "What is this? Could it be the meeting documents he hurriedly printed in the public printing room in his dream, which somehow turned into a strange novel in Xiang Ming's hands during the meeting, leading to his torment? That embarrassing fan fiction document?" Li Xiaoxia's face turned bright red. He nervously looked around, afraid of being discovered by Xiang Ming. However, at that moment, Xiang Ming suddenly passed by him, reminding him that the meeting time was approaching. "Take the documents and let's go." Seeing it was Xiang Ming, Li Xiaoxia quickly replied, "Yes." Then he quickly organized the documents in his hands, thinking to himself that he absolutely couldn't let him find this document. He quickly inserted the fan fiction at the end, thinking this way it wouldn't reach Xiang Ming's hands. Time passes, and Xiang Ming's voice echoes in the conference room. "Today's meeting is now concluded. You may leave." Then Xiang Ming came to Li Xiaoxia's side, praising him for organizing the meeting materials well. Li Xiaoxia hurriedly thanked the CEO for his praise. Inside, he was overjoyed. Fortunately, it hadn't been discovered. Thank goodness for his prophetic dream. However, at that moment, the documents in Li Xiaoxia's hands slipped and fell. With a loud thud, the papers scattered across the floor. This sudden noise immediately caught Xiang Ming's attention. He turned around, his gaze catching Li Xiaoxia frantically trying to pick up the documents. Looking at the scattered documents, Li Xiaoxia showed a guilty smile. He laughed awkwardly, saying, "Haha, my mistake, my mistake. I'll pick them up right away." Then he squatted down to pick up the documents. However, at that moment, Xiang Ming also squatted down, helping to pick up the scattered papers. Seeing Xiang Ming personally picking up the documents, Li Xiaoxia's mouth gaped open in shock. His heart felt like it had been struck by lightning. He thought, "No way. Could this be happening?" Xiang Ming looked at the document in his hand, inadvertently reading its contents. Xiang Ming had never thought he would fall in love with a man. This feeling made him restless. Could this be the charm of love? After reading it, his expression showed both amusement and anger. He held up the document, questioning Li Xiaoxia, assistantly, "So this is how you see me?" Seeing the document in Xiang Ming's hand, Li Xiaoxia was startled, his face turning pale instantly. He could only wave his hands repeatedly, stammering explanations. "It's not what you think, CEO. This is an accident, an accident." His heart was uneasy, thinking, "No way, no way. He's not going to silence me forever, is he?" Then Li Xiaoxia turned his body toward the door, preparing to find a chance to slip away. He turned back to Xiang Ming and said, "If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave, CEO." However, just as he was about to step out the door, Xiang Ming suddenly blocked his path with his hand from behind with a loud slap. With a dark face, he questioned Li Xiaoxia, "Where do you think you're going?" Then he held up the document, gripping it tightly, and asked through gritted teeth, "What's the deal with this article?" Li Xiaoxia, frightened by Xiang Ming's intensity, trembled and quickly said he could explain. He muttered quietly, "No way, not another public reading." Xiang Ming found it strange and caught Li Xiaoxia's muttered words, asking curiously, "What?" Li Xiaoxia hurriedly explained, No, you misheard." He thought to himself, if he knew this was his second mistake, counting the one in his dream, it would be disastrous. So, Li Xiaoxia hugged the documents with both hands. He now looked like a pitiful little lamb, trembling as he stood before Xiang Ming. Xiang Ming looked at him, remained silent for a moment, then said, "If you don't want to accept punishment, there's another option." Hearing Xiang Ming's words, Li Xiaoxia's eyes widened. He quickly raised his hand, indicating he'd choose the other option. Xiang Ming looked at his watch, then gazed at Li Xiaoxia tenderly and said, "Very well. My secretary is on maternity leave. You'll be my date for tonight's banquet." Li Xiaoxia hadn't yet processed this. He let out a surprised, Xiang Ming thought for a moment and said, You'll need to dress up properly. We have 1 hour. At this point, Li Xiaoxia finally realized what was happening. He stared at Xiang Ming with wide eyes, his heart filled with disbelief and surprise. What? He had to be his date? In the blink of an eye, Li Xiaoxia had changed into his clothes. He was wearing an exquisite evening gown and walked over gracefully. At this moment, Xiang Ming was discussing something with his secretary. Li Xiaoxia wanted to get their attention, gathered his courage, and said, I've changed into the clothes. His voice carried a hint of nervousness and anticipation. Xiang Ming turned his head to look at him, a flash of approval in his eyes. The secretary beside him quickly praised, "Wow, the dress fits Xiaoxia perfectly. It wasn't in vain that CEO Xiang specially had me buy this dress. CEO Xiang really has good taste." The two of them just stood there looking at Li Xiaoxia, making him feel uncomfortable. He could only smile awkwardly and agree. In his heart, he was thinking, how strange that he'd be so kind to buy me new clothes. Somehow, it feels like a weasel paying a New Year's visit to a chicken. The secretary then turned to face Xiang Ming, saying her mission was complete. CEO Xiang, I'll leave Xiaoxia to you. I need to go to my prenatal class now. Xiang Ming softly replied with signaling she could leave. Li Xiaoxia's heart was now full of anxiety and unease, thinking, please don't leave me alone with the CEO. Xiang Ming turned around and slowly approached Li Xiaoxia. Li Xiaoxia fearfully stepped back, thinking, why is he coming towards me? This is terrible. What should I do? After Xiang Ming reached Li Xiaoxia, he stopped and just smiled at him. The two stood there looking at each other. Li Xiaoxia wondered, why is he looking so closely? Is he thinking about how to silence me forever? These terrifying thoughts made him even more nervous, so he started to say, so, Xiang. However, at that moment, Xiang Ming reached out and pulled off the lace from Li Xiaoxia's chest area of the dress. This action completely stunned Li Xiaoxia. His hands still maintained a defensive posture, and his mind felt like it was about to explode. He watched the approaching Xiang Ming as if he were looking at the god of plague. While backing away, he shouted that he had just checked the price tag of this dress. It's super expensive. How can you just tear it? And such fine lace really can't strangle anyone to death. Woo-woo. CEO, I was wrong. Please don't kill me. I really was wrong. However, Xiang Ming calmly said 2 words, be quiet. Then he tied the lace around Li Xiaoxia's neck. Xiang Ming looked at him, turned to walk away, and said with satisfaction, that's better. Come with me. In the blink of an eye, evening came, and the two had arrived at the banquet hall. As they walked forward, Xiang Ming suddenly remembered something and said to Li Xiaoxia, all right, hold my hand. They quickly became the focus of the banquet. Everyone was discussing, is this high technology's new CEO, Xiang Ming? He looks so young. He's a rare case of someone from a humble background rising to nobility in this circle. Do you think he can really be accepted by high society? I guess he doesn't even plan to mingle with the upper class. Otherwise, why would he bring such a date to the banquet? Hearing everyone's discussions, Li Xiaoxia felt speechless. What did they mean by such a date? Was he really that embarrassing? He tugged at Xiang Ming's clothes from behind, whispering, so Xiang, maybe I should wait outside instead, so people won't criticize your taste. Xiang Ming turned back to look at Li Xiaoxia and said, do you think I brought you here to embarrass you? Xiang Ming's voice was deep and forceful. Li Xiaoxia mumbled in response, isn't it? I caught you dancing awkwardly, and now you're getting revenge. An eye for an eye. Before he could finish, Xiang Ming flicked his forehead, interrupting his endless chatter. He picked up a wine glass from the table and said calmly, don't mumble in front of the victim. I'm not deaf. I can't hear you. Li Xiaoxia covered the bump on his head with both hands, tears welling up in his eyes, feeling wronged. Xiang Ming sighed, saying he didn't have that much free time to seek revenge. At this banquet, no matter what he did, people would criticize him anyway, because he was their real target of mockery. At this moment, a waiter approached with a tray, asking Li Xiaoxia if he wanted some wine. He took the glass and said, thank you. However, Xiang Ming suddenly said, wait, put down the wine. Drivers can't drink and drive. Don't you know? Li Xiaoxia froze, confused. Am I the driver? Xiang Ming explained that he brought him here to work overtime as his driver. He would likely be pressured to drink later, so he'd need Li Xiaoxia to drive him home. He had checked his file and knew he had a driver's license. Li Xiaoxia finally understood and nodded. Oh, yes, I have a license. But how do you know you'll be pressured to drink? Xiang Ming looked at him, a complex emotion flashing in his eyes. Because I've affected certain people's interests. At an occasion like this where everything seems natural, it would be strange if they didn't try to test me. Li Xiaoxia suddenly understood and nodded in comprehension. Xiang Ming turned and walked forward, saying, "Wait over there. I'll come find you." Li Xiaoxia nodded, saying okay, and obediently moved to the side. Amidst the mingling crowd, everyone appeared congratulatory. Xiang Ming was surrounded by people, seemingly in his glory. But in reality, there seemed to be hidden agendas. Everyone had their own motives. Li Xiaoxia watched him from afar. Although Xiang Ming was smiling, he must be exhausted inside. For him, this kind of social maneuvering must be a daily occurrence. It must be really tough. Li Xiaoxia took a bite of cake, thinking he'd rather just be a happy little worker. However, at that moment, a familiar voice suddenly called out from behind, "Xiaoxia." Li Xiaoxia was hiding in the corner, enjoying the delicious pastries alone. Indeed, he was more suited to being a happy little corporate worker. Just as he was peacefully enjoying his food, a woman's voice broke the peaceful atmosphere. "It really is you, Xiaoxia. We were just talking about CEO Xiang." The person next to him looked so much like you. It was Linda. Li Xiaoxia knew his peaceful time was over. Sure enough, she started asking questions immediately. Linda feigned concern. "Weren't you with an he? Oh my God, you broke up? No way, no way. You two were so sweet together. How could you break up? Didn't he finally come to his senses and decide to find a more suitable girlfriend? Well, it's good that you broke up. After all, you two weren't compatible at all." Linda, under the guise of concern, belittled Li Xiaoxia completely, as if his relationship with he had been something unforgivable. Now that they'd broken up, it was as if he had finally seen the light. Li Xiaoxia remembered he was here for work and absolutely couldn't lose his temper. So he kept enduring, but his patience only encouraged Linda to become more aggressive. Linda enthusiastically invited Xiaoxia to join their old classmates for a chat. Li Xiaoxia had already seen through Linda's tricks and repeatedly declined, but couldn't resist her persistence and was pulled over. Sure enough, as soon as the old classmates saw Xiaoxia, they curiously gathered around. Everyone was shocked that Li Xiaoxia had broken up with he, and instead of being devastated, he had somehow managed to enter high society. But they completely refused to believe this was something Li Xiaoxia had achieved on his own merit, so they could only assume other shortcuts. Xiaoxia is actually with Hike Technology CEO Xiang. What's your relationship with him? Come on, Xiaoxia, tell us. Li Xiaoxia explained that he was just CEO Xiang's assistant, a normal superior-subordinate relationship, and they shouldn't misunderstand. After hearing Li Xiaoxia's explanation, everyone's resentment seemed to finally find an outlet. Their attitudes immediately changed. To think that with your high scores back then, you still ended up as just a small assistant. Xiang Ming is really rising to prominence lately. He would never associate with someone like you. If you ask me, it's Annie's fault. If he had given Xiaoxia breakup compensation, Xiaoxia wouldn't have to work like this. Everyone laughed mockingly, treating Li Xiaoxia as nothing more than the subject of their jokes. Li Xiaoxia didn't want to cause trouble for Xiang Ming and chose to endure the humiliation. But Xiang Ming wasn't willing to let Li Xiaoxia be insulted. He came forward to defend him, naturally putting his arm around Xiaoxia and saying intimately, "Didn't we agree you'd just call me by my name in private? We're already dating. Being so formal will make people laugh." While speaking, he caressed Xiaoxia's lips, his passionate eyes focused only on Xiaoxia. Linda couldn't accept that Li Xiaoxia had found an even better boyfriend in such a short time. She hurriedly said, "You two seem so close, but how come Xiaoxia never mentioned it?" Xiang Ming coldly looked at Linda, suddenly grabbed Li Xiaoxia's hand and declared, "Xiaoxia and I fell in love at first sight." Li Xiaoxia thought shyly that Xiang Ming was too skilled at playing the boyfriend role. Seeing how Xiang Ming protected Li Xiaoxia, Linda forced herself to offer congratulations. "It's really enviable. Seeing Xiaoxia so happy, we old friends can finally rest assured." Even though Linda was trembling with anger, she still tried to maintain her dignity. After all, Xiaoxia was so invested in his last relationship, we were worried he wouldn't get over it. Linda didn't believe Xiang Ming would remain unmoved hearing this. She thought Li Xiaoxia would surely be embarrassed. Before Xiang Ming could speak, Li Xiaoxia tightly held his arm and said, "If it weren't for those failed relationships, how would I know how much I love Xiang Ming? Thank you for your blessings. If there's nothing else, my boyfriend and I will leave first." After saying this, he pulled Xiang Ming away. In the hallway, Xiang Ming teased, still unwilling to let go of my hand? Li Xiaoxia suddenly came to his senses. He bowed repeatedly in gratitude. Thank you, So Xiang, for helping me out. I don't know how to thank you. If you hadn't stepped in, I would have been ridiculed again. Xiang Ming slowly approached. How do you know I didn't do this for my own benefit? While speaking, he moved closer, pinning Li Xiaoxia against the wall and gently lifting his chin. Li Xiaoxia shyly closed his eyes, but Xiang Ming only wiped away some food residue from his mouth. Li Xiaoxia felt incredibly awkward. Xiang Ming shrugged teasingly. Sorry to disappoint you. Nothing happened, but if you beg me, I might consider it, Li Xiaoxia shouted. I wasn't expecting anything. Xiang Ming's playful expression disappeared. Any qualified boss wouldn't let their employees be humiliated by others, especially when you're my personal assistant. He then instructed Li Xiaoxia not to drink and remember to drive him home, before returning to socialize. Li Xiaoxia wandered alone, thinking that Xiang Ming was quite nice to protect his subordinates. He wondered what kind of girl Xiang Ming liked. Suddenly, someone bumped into Li Xiaoxia and hurried away without apologizing. Looking at the person's back, Li Xiaoxia felt a strange familiarity. Had he seen him somewhere before? As the party was ending, Li Xiaoxia followed Xiang Ming to say goodbye at the entrance. While others were drunk, Xiang Ming seemed completely fine. Li Xiaoxia followed behind Xiang Ming. Suddenly, they bumped into each other as Xiang Ming stopped. Seeing it was Li Xiaoxia behind him and confirming he hadn't been drinking, he handed over his car keys before swaying and collapsing. Li Xiaoxia caught him and frantically asked, CEO Xiang, you haven't told me where you live. Xiang Ming mumbled his home address drowsily before falling asleep. Li Xiaoxia struggled to carry him home. While walking, he complained, were you raised on pig feed? Why are you so heavy? Li Xiaoxia suddenly realized this phrase felt familiar, as if he'd said it before. Not just that, but this house also seemed oddly familiar, as if it wasn't his first time here. Yet Li Xiaoxia was certain he'd never been here before. The vague sense of familiarity throughout the day, combined with last night's strange dream, Li Xiaoxia inevitably recalled last night's intimate dream with Xiang Ming. The sensual memories made his face turn bright red. Things from the dream absolutely cannot happen in reality. After making this resolution, Li Xiaoxia directly dropped Xiang Ming on the floor. Although this isn't very ethical, boss, you'll have to endure one night. Li Xiaoxia apologized without guilt and prepared to leave. At this moment, Xiang Ming seemed to regain some consciousness, calling out for water. Li Xiaoxia hesitated whether to pretend not to hear and just slip away. But what if Xiang Ming deliberately seeks revenge after sobering up tomorrow? What if he gets fired? Yet if he stays, following the dream's progression, things could get dangerous. After much internal struggle, Li Xiaoxia still decided to stay and take care of Xiang Ming. After all, he couldn't joke around with his job. Xiaoxia approached Xiang Ming to hear what he was mumbling about. Just as he got close, Xiang Ming suddenly pulled them closer together, close enough to hear each other's heartbeats and feel each other's breath. Li Xiaoxia had never been this close to Xiang Ming before. Setting everything else aside, Xiang Ming's face was truly handsome. Li Xiaoxia seemed bewitched, staring continuously at Xiang Ming. Coming to his senses, Xiaoxia strongly condemned himself. Li Xiaoxia, you're being so inappropriate. Lusting after someone? How shameless. The person lying there is Xiang Ming, your boss. Two little figures appeared in Li Xiaoxia's mind. One was a kind angel, advising Li Xiaoxia not to be lustful. Good children shouldn't have inappropriate thoughts about their superiors. The devil, however, tempted Li Xiaoxia. Xiang Ming seduced you first, it's fine to look a bit more. After struggling between the two, the devil finally won. Just then, Xiang Ming rolled over and pinned Li Xiaoxia down, nuzzling against him while mumbling so cool, as if Li Xiaoxia was his cooling device. Looking at the confused Xiang Ming, Li Xiaoxia felt this wasn't like drunkenness, but more like being drugged, like in novels. But before Li Xiaoxia could resist, Xiang Ming kissed him, leading to another wild night. The next morning, an urgent ring woke Li Xiaoxia from his sleep. He skillfully turned off the alarm. Planning to go back to sleep, he suddenly remembered something and sat up abruptly. Wasn't he at Xiang Ming's house? How did he end up back in his own room? Li Xiaoxia checked his phone. Sure enough, it was still the 31st. Li Xiaoxia was almost certain he was trapped on the 31st. But this seemed too absurd. Why was he the only one trapped? Others clearly had no memory of before. Like Xiang Ming, before today, they were complete strangers. This time, he couldn't just muddle through. He had to find out why he was trapped on this day. Most importantly, he absolutely couldn't get involved with Xiang Ming again. According to the butterfly effect theory, changing the beginning would change everything that follows. In other words, if he didn't go to work today, he wouldn't see Xiang Ming dancing in the break room. He wouldn't be transferred to the CEO's office and wouldn't inexplicably end up in bed with him. Therefore, Li Xiaoxia decided to skip work today. He dressed up carefully, transforming from a slovenly worker into a refined beauty, and arranged to go shopping with his girlfriends. Even his friends were shocked that Li Xiaoxia wasn't working today. Xiaoxia nervously said that even corporate slaves need to relax sometimes. But he still frequently checked his phone, calculating work hours to ensure he wouldn't run into Xiang Ming. Just then, someone suddenly tapped Li Xiaoxia from behind. "Hey, beautiful, are you alone? If you have coffee with me, I'll buy you anything you want." Li Xiaoxia immediately threw his milk tea in the man's face. "Sorry, I prefer milk tea." Harshly rejected, the man immediately became angry with embarrassment. He raised his hand to slap Li Xiaoxia. "You refuse my kindness and choose punishment instead? Do you know who I am?" At this critical moment, a hand suddenly reached out to stop the man's violence. And he grabbed the man and disgustedly told him to get lost, then looked at Li. Xiaoxia angrily said, "For people like this, you just threw milk tea at him? Don't you know to call the police?" Li Xiaoxia was moved seeing and He's sudden appearance. The next moment, people recognized and they excitedly approached for photos. Li Xiaoxia suddenly came to his senses. If they didn't leave now, fans would swarm over. So he quickly pulled out a silk scarf from his bag, covered in He's head, and dragged him away. While running, he complained, "After all this time, hasn't your capable manager taught you how to avoid fans in public?" They ran into the emergency stairwell. Li Xiaoxia, panting, said thankfully, "Good thing we ran fast, almost got discovered." And he looked at Li Xiaoxia lovingly. "You're still the same as before, willing to help me escape from crowds. Haven't you still not gotten over me?" Li Xiaoxia turned to leave immediately. "Mr. Big Star, you're mistaken. There's nothing between us to get over." And he, hearing the rejection, persisted. He grabbed Li Xiaoxia, asking if there was a chance for them to get back together. Li Xiaoxia pulled his hand away mercilessly, saying, "I, Li Xiaoxia, may not be much, but I know one thing. Good cows don't eat old grass. I don't want your grass anymore." As he was about to leave, he didn't notice a puddle of water ahead. He almost slipped. Just then, Xiang Ming suddenly appeared and caught Li Xiaoxia. Seeing Xiang Ming, Xiaoxia instinctively called out his name. Xiang Ming looked at the woman before him, asking puzzledly, "Do we know each other?" An alarm went off in Li Xiaoxia's mind. How did he run into Xiang Ming again? It's a new day. They don't know each other yet. Li Xiaoxia still had a chance. He absolutely couldn't get involved with Xiang Ming today. Just then, security personnel arrived late, and he came over to ask if Li Xiaoxia was hurt. Li Xiaoxia saw and He's gloomy face. He clutched Xiang Ming's sleeve, acting coy. "Director Xiang, I don't want to go over there." Xiang Ming looked at the quail like Li Xiaoxia, his lips curling slightly upward. He turned to criticize, cleaning oversight, VIP customers lacking personal reception, mall emergencies uncontrolled. Is this Jiechi's capability? Perhaps our recent cooperation discussion needs to be reconsidered. The Jiechi manager rushed to remedy the situation, and he was escorted back to the lounge. Before leaving, and he shot Li Xiaoxia a fierce look. Seeing the crisis resolved, Li Xiaoxia quickly stepped back, bowing frantically to thank Xiang Ming. Just as he tried to leave, Xiang Ming suddenly stopped him. "Miss, how did you know my name and position, and coincidentally appear in my business meeting, interrupting the cooperation process? I have sufficient reason to suspect you're a corporate spy from a rival company." Li Xiaoxia had never seen Xiang Ming so serious and became very flustered, hurrying to explain. But Xiang Ming was clearly unmoved, giving Li Xiaoxia only two choices. Either be taken to the nearby police station to file a report preventing company secrets from leaking, or follow Xiang Ming for the entire day under his personal supervision. Li Xiaoxia sat dejectedly in Xiang Ming's office. Somehow, no matter how much he tried to avoid Xiang Ming, they would still end up connected through some twist of fate. Li Xiaoxia bowed his head and made a devout wish. If there was a chance to break free from this karmic bond with Xiang Ming, he would become vegetarian for life. Just then, there was a knock on the door. It was Xiang Ming's secretary, informing him that the receiving plan had been finalized, and brought Xiang Ming's evening formal wear for the banquet. However, the secretary had a prenatal appointment and couldn't attend the banquet with Xiangming. She asked if he needed help contacting a neighboring lady to attend. Li Xiaoxia, remembering Xiangming had to attend the banquet, thought this was a chance to escape, so she sneakily tried to slip away. Xiangming rejected the secretary's suggestion and pointed at Li Xiaoxia, saying he'd take her. The secretary was concerned about this decision, but Xiangming said it was fine and told the secretary to attend to her own matters. Li Xiaoxia protested dramatically. "I can't do it. Director Xiang, how am I qualified to accompany you to the banquet?" Xiangming threateningly replied, "Police station or banquet hall, take your pick." Li Xiaoxia obediently accepted Xiangming's invitation. Though he always found ways to torment people, he looked really handsome in a suit. Li Xiaoxia couldn't help being attracted to his good looks. Xiangming took out a box from the closet and said to Li Xiaoxia, "Secretary Jiang has left. Please help me with my cufflinks." Li Xiaoxia took the cufflinks to help Xiangming. Seeing her awkward movements, Xiangming slowly guided her. Li Xiaoxia, enchanted by Xiangming, blushed and her heart raced. She accidentally dropped the cufflink and quickly bent down to pick it up. Unexpectedly, their fingers touched. Li Xiaoxia quickly withdrew her hand, but Xiangming grabbed it. "Have you forgotten me, Li Xiaoxia?" Li Xiaoxia was shocked by his words. Could it be that Xiangming also remembered these repeating days? That would be terrible. As Li Xiaoxia hesitated whether to confess, Xiangming continued, "I also studied at H University. I was a senior 4 years ago, when you just entered, right?" Li Xiaoxia felt extremely relieved upon hearing this. Thankfully, he was referring to the university name, not the events of these repeating days. Otherwise, it would have been social death. But did what he just mentioned really happen before? 4 years ago, Li Xiaoxia did enter H University. She exclaimed in shock, "You're saying we knew each other in university? But I don't remember someone as outstanding as you there." Xiangming cornered Li Xiaoxia against the wall, leaning close to her ear, saying slowly, "You wrote me so many letters. How could you forget?" Li Xiaoxia, embarrassed by Xiangming's action, shouted, "Impossible. Director Xiang, there was nothing between us. How could we have been involved in university?" Seeing Li Xiaoxia's firm denial, Xiangming suddenly felt extremely bored and said, "Never mind. It's getting late. Let's head to the banquet hall." Then he turned and left. In the banquet hall, among the mingling crowds, Li Xiaoxia ate small cakes while thinking about what Xiangming had said. He said they knew each other before, and she wrote him letters. Was he crazy? How could she have known him? But somehow, Xiangming's expression then was so dejected yet serious. But in university, Li Xiaoxia was always with an he. If she had met Xiangming, how could she forget? Just then, someone greeted Li Xiaoxia. "You again, Linda." No matter how many times we restart, Linda was still as mean as ever. "Aren't you with an he? Have you broken up?" "I knew it. In university. And he only dated you because you kept pestering him. It was just temporary." "But Xiaoxia, why are you here today? Did you find a way in to try to win any back?" Too bad some people try desperately to enter high society, but end up failing. Linda looked at Li Xiaoxia with great contempt. Tonight's star is Xiangming. Director Xiang can easily become the center of attention, while you can only watch from the corner. None of this concerns you. One should know their place. And he and you aren't from the same world. Even if you chase him to this party, he won't give you a second glance. Xiangming, from a distance, seemed to notice the situation and turned to look at Li Xiaoxia. Li Xiaoxia objected to Linda. "I'm not here for an he." Before she could finish, someone grabbed her. And he, holding Li Xiaoxia's hand, said to Linda, "My business with Xiaoxia is none of your concern." Linda looked at the two in shock. Could it be that Li Xiaoxia hadn't broken up with an he? Li Xiaoxia yanked her hand away from an he, clarifying to everyone, "I have nothing to do with him. Let go of me." Her emotional outburst made Li Xiaoxia stumble, about to fall. Fortunately, Xiangming appeared in time to catch her. "Which hand did he touch just now?" Xiangming asked while taking out a handkerchief, wiping Li Xiaoxia's hand clean. And he watched this scene with great sadness. People seeing Xiangming and Li Xiaoxia's interaction whispered among themselves. Li Xiaoxia asked, "Do we have to stay in the middle of the venue? Why don't we move somewhere else?" But both men refused in unison, saying it's better to resolve things right here. And he stared at Xiangming and coldly asked, "Director Xiang, so busy tonight, yet still has time to mind others' business?" Xiangming retorted, "Li Xiaoxia is my employee. I naturally have the responsibility to protect her from any suspicious individuals." The two men faced off while Li Xiaoxia, caught between them, felt like she was in a love triangle. That's when He's manager appeared from the side, asking what he was doing there. "Are you disturbing Director Xiang?" He pressed in he to apologize to Xiang Ming, and he turned and refused his manager. Used to In He's temperament, the manager said to Xiang Ming, "Director Xiang, I'm truly sorry." And he has always been devoted to art and isn't skilled in social interactions. If he's offended you, please forgive him. We have a long future of cooperation ahead. Please be understanding about today. Hearing the manager's words, Xiang Ming thought for a moment and said, "About our cooperation, perhaps we need to reconsider. We'll take our leave now. Please excuse us." The manager recognized Li Xiaoxia. Watching her being led away by Xiang Ming, he seemed thoughtful. Li Xiaoxia hid in the bathroom to calm down. Although Xiang Ming always exploited her, he had helped her today. Li Xiaoxia recalled the scene of Xiang Ming wiping her hand with his handkerchief, feeling her heart flutter. Just as Li Xiaoxia was about to leave the bathroom, she heard people planning something. They had prepared everything and told the waiter to serve it to Xiang Ming. They must make him drink that spiked water. Li Xiaoxia was shocked upon hearing this. Who would drug Xiang Ming? She thought. I haven't stumbled into another terrible business conspiracy and poisoning scene, have I? Li Xiaoxia worried that Xiang Ming would, like Snow White, unknowingly drink that champagne, and then be severely poisoned. A sense of justice arose in Li Xiaoxia's heart. As a good citizen, she couldn't let this happen. So she hurried to the door, wanting to see who was planning this evil deed. But she found that the people talking earlier had already left. Li Xiaoxia made a quick decision and rushed to the banquet hall. Hang in there, Xiang Ming. Wait for me to save you. In the banquet hall, glasses clinked amidst luxury and extravagance. Businessmen gathered in circles, enthusiastically discussing cooperation matters. Xiang Ming picked up a nearby champagne glass and clinked it with his business partner across from him. In just a few words, they sealed a major deal. When Li Xiaoxia rushed to the banquet hall, she saw Xiang Ming raising the champagne to drink. Li Xiaoxia shouted no, while lunging towards Xiang Ming, knocking him to the ground with a slap. Xiang Ming spat out the champagne he had just sipped. Before Li Xiaoxia could feel proud, she was thrown out of the venue by an enraged Xiang Ming. Li Xiaoxia walked away trembling, regretting her attempt to help. She wished she hadn't tried to save Xiang Ming. Not only did she get no benefit, she got kicked out late at night. Just then, a car pulled up beside her. Xiang Ming sat inside, asking her to get in. Li Xiaoxia saw Xiang Ming's seemingly kind smile and, fearing for her life, repeatedly refused. As if expecting this, Xiang Ming didn't insist and told the driver to leave. Li Xiaoxia suddenly noticed Annie rushing out from the banquet hall. Compared to an awkward conversation with he, sharing a car with Xiang Ming didn't seem so unbearable. She quickly changed her mind, tapped on the window, and begged Xiang Ming to let her in. Hearing this, Xiang Ming stopped the car, and Li Xiaoxia quickly climbed in. Xiang Ming and Li Xiaoxia sat in silence throughout the ride. Looking at the cold Xiang Ming, Li Xiaoxia thought to herself, are all overbearing so's this two-faced? She couldn't imagine such a serious-looking person awkwardly dancing in the break room. Remembering the scene of Xiang Ming dancing earlier, she couldn't help but laugh. Xiang Ming finally spoke. Miss Li, you've secretly looked at me 18 times during this ride. If looks could impregnate, I might be carrying 18 babies by now. Li Xiaoxia nervously touched her nose, but then realized that if Xiang Ming hadn't been watching her, how would he know she'd been staring at him? She retorted, nonsense. You're the one who's been watching me. How dare you accuse me first? But when Li Xiaoxia turned her head, she found Xiang Ming curled up in pain in his seat. She leaned forward concerned. What's wrong? Is your stomach hurting? Xiang Ming didn't answer directly, saying instead, it's nothing, don't worry. But he didn't look fine at all. The car arrived at Xiang Ming's building. After getting out, he instructed the driver to take Li Xiaoxia home. Sitting in the car, Li Xiaoxia watched Xiang Ming's weak figure with concern and told the driver, take me to that place first. Upon returning home, Xiang Ming collapsed in pain at the doorway, unable to move. After some time, Li Xiaoxia's voice suddenly came from outside. Xiang Ming looked at her in shock, asking, why are you here? Out of breath, Li Xiaoxia replied, if I hadn't come back, would you have died from pain at your doorstep? I bought medicine. Let's go inside and take it first. Feeling Li Xiaoxia's concern, Xiang Ming smiled happily. He sat obediently on the sofa and took the medicine she handed him. Li Xiaoxia felt relieved after seeing him take the medicine. Now that you've taken it, I can leave with peace of mind. Can't have people saying I ignored someone in need. Xiang Ming paused while drinking water and set down his glass. Let me walk Miss Li out. By the way, I remember only telling the driver the name of the complex, not my specific apartment number. How did Miss Lee know where I live? Li Xiaoxia realized she had slipped up. She shouldn't have known his address today. Was she about to be exposed? Xiang Ming slowly approached, saying to Li Xiaoxia with suspicious intent, "Have you thought of how to explain?" Li Xiaoxia looked at Xiang Ming nervously, attempting to resist. "Actually, I'm your obsessed stalker." To avoid Xiang Ming discovering the secret of the time loop, Li Xiaoxia had no choice but to sacrifice her reputation. Sure enough, when Xiang Ming heard this, he immediately stepped back. Li Xiaoxia saw it was working, so she took a deep breath, instantly changed her tone, and excitedly said, "You have no idea how charming you are. Just from one chance eye contact, I was moved by your aura and hopelessly fell for you. You're handsome and talented. At such a young age, you've taken over the company and reached life's peak. You're truly outstanding," Li Xiaoxia said while gesturing dramatically. "Not only that, whether it's the interior design or the quality of your collections, they all showcase your taste. Just like this 1982 loft fight in my hand. At first sip, nothing special, but it grows more intoxicating." Li Xiaoxia used every prop around to extensively praise Xiang Ming. Like this impressive trophy wall. For someone as excellent as you to display these, they must be extraordinary awards. Xiang Ming calmly said, "It's nothing special. This is the best band award I received in college." Li Xiaoxia was completely surprised. She had no idea Xiang Ming had been in a band. She turned to look at the trophy carefully. H University 2017 Best Band Award. Could Xiang Ming really be her senior from the same university? Stroking the trophy, Xiang Ming said nostalgically, "But I haven't played in a very long time. Since you're my obsessed stalker fan, would you like to hear me play?" In the dimly lit city, when all was quiet, Li Xiaoxia sat by the window, listening to Xiang Ming slowly strumming his guitar. Surprisingly, Xiang Ming played quite well, no less skilled than he. So she continued flattering him. "Since you're also an H University graduate and were in a band, you must have crossed paths with he. His talent was famous at H University, and he had many admirers." Xiang Ming coldly replied, "I don't know him." Li Xiaoxia wasn't upset by this. Instead, she moved closer and said, "I think you play much better than him. I might really become your obsessed fan." Xiang Ming noticed Li Xiaoxia was drunk and offered to take her home. Li Xiaoxia asked puzzled, "But you don't know where I live. How can you take me home?" Xiang Ming paused without speaking. Li Xiaoxia moved closer to him. "It's okay. I can just sleep here. We're getting familiar anyway." Xiang Ming didn't catch Li Xiaoxia's words clearly. Before he could ask, Li Xiaoxia suddenly threw herself into his arms, trying to dodge the question. Xiang Ming held her tightly and whispered, "Xiaoxia, when will you remember?" In H University's library, Li Xiaoxia stood on a ladder searching for books. She accidentally missed a step. Suddenly, a kind student caught her. Li Xiaoxia looked at the handsome young man and shyly thanked him. Stammering, she asked, "I don't know your name yet. How can I thank you?" The student turned and said, "I'm Xiang Ming. If you want to thank me, just treat me to a meal." Li Xiaoxia happily agreed. Time flew by, seasons changed, and Li Xiaoxia and Xiang Ming grew closer. One afternoon, Li Xiaoxia followed behind Xiang Ming, lost in thought, until she bumped into his back. Xiang Ming gently touched Li Xiaoxia's reddened forehead, asking what was wrong. After hesitating for a long time, Li Xiaoxia couldn't say it. Instead, she thrust a letter against Xiang Ming's chest, saying, "Read it yourself. I'm leaving," then walked away without looking back. Xiang Ming looked at Li Xiaoxia's letter and smiled sweetly. But the romantic atmosphere didn't last long. On a stormy night, Li Xiaoxia got into a car accident on her way home. In the hospital room, only the machine's operating sounds could be heard. Xiang Ming sat in front of the treatment equipment, watching the unconscious Xiaoxia. The subordinate behind him said, "Mr. Xiang, we in Hui Technology. The lawsuit regarding the holographic gaming pod's property rights will begin in 10 days. If we can't decrypt Miss Li's USB drive without crucial evidence, it will be hard to win this case." Xiang Ming didn't want to discuss this in front of Li Xiaoxia, so he asked his subordinate to leave. He held Xiaoxia's hand tightly and kissed it, saying, "Xiaoxia, I'm waiting for you to wake up." Li Xiaoxia woke from her sleep, rubbed her eyes, and suddenly noticed the pillow was different. All her decorations were gone too. Li Xiaoxia sat up abruptly, looking around, and found herself in an unfamiliar place. Then she remembered how she had insisted on sleeping at Xiang Ming's house yesterday. Li Xiaoxia knocked her head in frustration, feeling she must have gone crazy to even dare occupy Xiang Ming's bed. However, she felt like she was forgetting something important. Xiaoxia picked up her phone and found it was April 1st. She started jumping around happily. Finally, she wasn't stuck on March 31st anymore. She had succeeded. While Li Xiaoxia was acting crazy, Xiang Ming appeared at the doorway. They shared an awkward glance before heading to the dining room for breakfast. Xiaoxia silently wondered why waking up in Xiang Ming's bed allowed her to successfully move from March 31st to April 1st. Perhaps her previous guess was correct. All these abnormal phenomena were related to Xiang Ming. Xiang Ming noticed Li Xiaoxia staring at him with a scheming look. He looked at her carefully and said, "Weren't you quite enthusiastic about deceiving me yesterday, my obsessed stalker?" Li Xiaoxia suddenly stood up, slapping the table. "You investigated me." Xiang Ming showed no guilt and replied matter-of-factly, "How else would I know that you're my employee who took a day off without asking for leave?" Li Xiaoxia angrily responded, "Damn capitalist. Give me back my documents." While blocking Li Xiaoxia's attempts to grab them, Xiang Ming stared at the documents, saying, "Perhaps you can explain why you happen to know the layout of my room and other things, coincidentally as if you had precognitive abilities." Li Xiaoxia swallowed hard, seeing she couldn't hide it anymore. She decided to be honest. "If I tell you I've been stuck in yesterday for a long time, would you believe me?" Though Xiang Ming didn't believe it, he still asked, "Why do you say that?" Li Xiaoxia closed her eyes and revealed everything that happened days ago. "It's all because of you. If we hadn't somehow ended up in bed together every time, I wouldn't be repeating March's last day over and over." Xiang Ming sat on the stool, unable to hold back his laughter. "So it's my fault? Miss Li, now I really believe you're my super obsessed stalker fan." Li Xiaoxia knew he wouldn't believe her. She regretted saying so much and wished she had just left. Xiang Ming grabbed Li Xiaoxia's arm and pulled her into his embrace, saying, "After saying so much, how can I tell if this is your fiction or fact? Is there anything only we two know that can prove it?" Li Xiaoxia struggled free from his embrace and warned, "Just talk normally. Don't get so close all the time. You think I'll fall for your looks?" While Li Xiaoxia spoke righteously, her inner devil gave her a clear answer, gave a definitive answer. Li Xiaoxia turned around and began carefully thinking about what could prove it. Inevitably, the scene of Xiang Ming dancing in the break room came to mind. "Is awkward dancing in the break room your habit, Mr. Xiang? Nobody else knows about this, right? Is that proof enough?" Xiang Ming nervously said, "Everyone has their own hobbies." Li Xiaoxia mocked, "Well, your hobby is quite unique." After getting confirmation, Li Xiaoxia became more eager and tried hard to recall other evidence. "Once I deliberately avoided your usual routes, but still ran into you. You came out of a bar, completely drunk, like a homeless person. Were you heartbroken then?" After hearing this, Xiang Ming became even more withdrawn. Looking at his state, Li Xiaoxia said apologetically, "Well, heartbreak happens. Let me think of something else." Then a memory fragment rushed into her mind, something Li Xiaoxia accidentally overheard outside the door. Even Xiang Ming would be surprised. Hui Tek had a mole. Upon hearing this, Xiang Ming froze, then immediately exited the consciousness space. Rising from the treatment device, he ordered, "Pull up the surveillance footage of what Xiaoxia just mentioned." The subordinate replied, "According to our AI system's calculations, Miss Li's reference should be from the 22nd time point in the loop. The footage is being retrieved." Xiang Ming clenched his fists and said, "Time is running out." They found Xiaoxia. After obtaining the evidence, Xiang Ming immediately held a press conference, publicly announcing that they would counter Hui Tek's unfair competition practices. At the conference, Xiang Ming skillfully handled all questions, no matter how tricky, until a reporter connected this case with Li Xiaoxia's assault case. Xiang Ming's assistant knew. This had always been Xiang Ming's taboo topic. He hurried to stop it, but Xiang Ming waved off his assistant Chen Sheng. He said, "Professional legal teams will handle related cases." But here he wanted to convey that Hui Tek is a company that devours people. Meanwhile, Hui Tek's boss was also watching this press conference. He lounged carelessly on the sofa, finding Xiang Ming's rhetoric amusing. He only cared about whether they had hacked into Xiang Ming's system. But his subordinate's answer was that even after spending over a month, they had only found a tiny vulnerability. The Hui Tek boss knew that even such a small vulnerability could determine the outcome of this battle. So he asked his subordinate how much time they had. Getting the the answer of only half an hour, he chose to enter the virtual world while Xiang Ming was doing the news broadcast. The Hui Tech boss touched his injured eye, silently vowing never to let Xiang Ming off. Meanwhile, Li Xiaoxia suddenly woke up. She didn't know when she had fallen asleep again. She was just having breakfast with Xiang Ming, but her recent memories were always confused. So Li Xiaoxia shook her head. She left the room and walked downstairs, looking for Xiang Ming, but found he wasn't home. Where could he have gone? Just then, Li Xiaoxia's phone suddenly rang. Xiaoxia looked at it and found the caller ID was just a string of random code. Our spam calls this unprofessional now. Li Xiaoxia thought for a moment, but still answered the call. It was the Hui Tech boss on the other end. Li Xiaoxia, don't you feel that the world you're in is fake? I'm here today to tell you the truth. You exist in a massive dream. Now the dream is about to collapse. If you don't get out in time, you'll die. Li Xiaoxia listened to the person speaking confidently and found it absurd. What are you talking about? I don't understand a word. Li Xiaoxia didn't want to believe these incredible claims. But what the person on the other end said made her hair stand on end. Don't you think today's world is too quiet? Don't rush to deny it. You can go out and see if I'm right. Li Xiaoxia walked to the window with mixed feelings. Although she didn't want to believe it, today's world did seem unusually quiet. The noon sunlight poured down from the sky. Xiaoxia tidied herself up and left home for the city center. Strangely, the usually bustling city center was completely silent. Even the sound of wind had disappeared. Cars were randomly parked on the street, but there was no one in them. Li Xiaoxia felt very strange. As she stepped back, she suddenly bumped into someone. She immediately turned around to apologize. I'm sorry, did I hurt you? But the bun-selling Annie she bumped into didn't get angry. To be precise, she didn't even move at all. Xiaoxia became scared. What's wrong? Why isn't she speaking? So, Li Xiaoxia gathered her courage and asked the Annie, how much is one bun? The Annie replied, 150 each. Remember to eat them while they're hot, while handing the bun to Li Xiaoxia. That's more like it, Li Xiaoxia thought while taking the bun. I must have been confused from sleep. Otherwise, how could the world become so strange after waking up? Li Xiaoxia bit into the bun, walking slowly towards home. 150 each. Remember to eat them while they're hot. Li Xiaoxia suddenly stopped. Looking back, she found that even with no customers at the stall, the bun-selling Annie was still repeating that same sentence, repeating the same motion. Li Xiaoxia fled in terror. The phone call was right. She must be dreaming. Otherwise, how could such bizarre and eerie things happen? How could she wake up? At this moment, a voice suddenly flashed through Li Xiaoxia's mind. It was the spam caller from earlier. If you can recall a crucial string of numbers, you can successfully wake up from this nightmare. What numbers? Dates from recent days quickly flashed by. Countless numbers rushed through Li Xiaoxia's mind. That voice, like a death-seeking ghost, kept circling around Xiaoxia's ears. You must remember it. Tell me what those numbers are. Xiaoxia wanted to escape that voice, but couldn't find a way. She broke down and shouted, I don't know. The Hui Tech boss sneered, indeed a fool. Suddenly, an urgent sound came from afar. Li Xiaoxia looked up to find its source. A truck was driving straight towards her. At the critical moment, Xiang Ming appeared just in time, pulling Li Xiaoxia aside with a roll, away from the truck's impact zone. But Xiang Ming seemed to be injured after falling. Xiaoxia looked at Xiang Ming worriedly. Xiang Ming held Li Xiaoxia preciously, saying with relief, thank goodness you're okay. Then he seriously told Li Xiaoxia, follow me. Don't believe anyone except me. Li Xiaoxia was full of questions, asking Xiang Ming what had happened. But Xiang Ming just silently pulled Li Xiaoxia along, walking straight ahead. Li Xiaoxia keenly noticed there was no one on the road. The company was empty too. What had happened to this world? Xiang Ming pulled Li Xiaoxia into the elevator. Finally able to rest, she asked breathlessly, can you tell me what's happening now? Why are people on the street acting so strange? In the out-of-control vehicle, the empty company, Xiang Ming, do you know something? Xiang Ming looked at Li Xiaoxia with concern and said, all answers will be revealed soon. After the elevator reached the top floor, the doors slowly opened to both sides. Li Xiaoxia discovered that outside the 80th floor, instead of luxurious offices or reception rooms, there was a vast space composed of streams of data. Xiang Ming explained, this is the truth of this world, a virtual world constructed from data streams. This world is created from your memories. Li Xiaoxia looked at everything in disbelief. Xiang Ming, looking at the terrified Li Xiaoxia, patiently guided, touch it and you'll remember everything. Li Xiaoxia gathered her courage and reached out to the data wall. In an instant, countless memories flooded into her. Li Xiaoxia saw her brief life. She saw how she and Xiangming met and fell in love in university. Campus romance was always sweet. The two lived happily together. Xiangming successfully proposed to Xiaoxia. All happiness seemed so real and precious. Xiaoxia helplessly watched those memories. Are these all my past memories? Why can't I remember any of them? Xiangming explained, because this is just a virtual world. He trapped you in your most memorable day, which is why you keep cycling through the same day. And your brain automatically fills in the events of this day. Li Xiaoxia still felt very scared. Then why did those things happen earlier? The out-of-control car, the NPC-like pedestrians, the endless pursuit. Why did all these happen? Xiangming said angrily. They are hackers sent by Li Tianhe to invade this world and disrupt it. Their goal is to get the password you have. Li Xiaoxia subconsciously felt that this password must be something very important. But when she tried to recall it carefully, she felt an intense pain. Li Xiaoxia couldn't help but crouch down to try to ease it. Time went back to 3 years ago. Back then, Li Tianhe and Xiangming were still partners. Without Xiangming's participation, the gaming pod project wouldn't have progressed so quickly. Xiangming humbly said it wasn't just his achievement, but also Xiaoxia's and other team members. Xiaoxia is amazing. Many technical challenges of the gaming pod were overcome by her. Li Xiaoxia is the backbone of the entire project. Li Tianhe could hear the love for Li Xiaoxia in Xiangming's words. He expressed enviously that if one day his eyes could recover, he would also want to love someone properly, like Xiangming did. Xiangming comforted him, saying it would happen soon. The immersive virtual gaming pod's neural interface experiments had entered Phase 3. If all went well, it would launch next year. By then, Li Tianhe would be able to see the whole world through the gaming pod. At that time, the two had many common topics. Both were working hard towards a common goal, but good times didn't last long. They soon had disagreements. Li Tianhe wanted to start human trials for the gaming pod immediately. But Xiangming believed that since Phase 3 experiments weren't successful yet, rushing into trials would be irresponsible to human life. However, Li Tianhe insisted on his way. Xiangming said if that's the case, it would be difficult to continue cooperation and resolutely resigned from his director position. But Li Tianhe said while Xiangming could leave, Li Xiaoxia must stay to continue the experiments in Xiangming's place. Otherwise, he would take Xiangming to court for leaking company secrets. Xiangming tried to leave with Li Xiaoxia, but Li Xiaoxia stopped him. She agreed to stay and complete the gaming pod human trials, but also hoped Li Tianhe would keep his word and not pursue any action against Xiangming. Time passed, and Li Xiaoxia was about to marry Xiangming. After the experiment ended, she would leave the company and marry Xiangming. Suddenly, the machine started emitting alarms. The test subject's vital signs were rapidly declining. Please shut down power and abort the experiment. Li Xiaoxia decided to cut the power. But the team members hesitated. If they cut power now, they would lose experimental data from all 3 phases, over a year's worth of work. Everything hinged on this moment. Li Xiaoxia was furious. That's a human life at stake. If we don't cut power now, it'll be too late. Just as she was about to pull the power switch, Li Tianhe stopped her. Li Tianhe firmly demanded Li Xiaoxia to continue the experiment. Li Xiaoxia probed, so that's why I took evidence of Hui Ku Tech's inhumane experiments. Xiangming confirmed, that's right. It was the day of our wedding photo shoot. Halfway through, you suddenly had to return to the company. Li Xiaoxia took advantage of the building's power outage, with only his office having backup power. She wanted to use this perfect opportunity to take out evidence of Hui Ku Tech and Li Tianhe's crimes. During the data transfer, Li Xiaoxia's phone suddenly rang. It was Xiangming calling to ask if she had finished handling things. Li Xiaoxia quickly answered, reassuring him, I'm almost done. Wait for me a bit longer. But this one phone call led security to discover Li Xiaoxia's whereabouts. Li Xiaoxia hurriedly left the building with the USB drive and data. She told Xiangming, I have evidence that Hui Ku Tech conducted human experiments without proper qualification. Once this goes public, Li Tianhe won't be able to continue these practices. Xiangming was shocked at Li Xiaoxia's boldness. He frantically tried to stop her, begging her to abandon this action. Li Tianhe won't let you go. Come back, Xiaoxia. But Li Xiaoxia knew some things had to be done by her. If something happens to me, before she could finish, a car drove straight into Li Xiaoxia's vehicle. Afterward, Li Xiaoxia fell into a long coma. Xiang Ming took out the USB drive. This is the drive Li Xiaoxia left behind. It was set to allow only one password attempt. If entered incorrectly, the drive would self-destruct, so no one dared to try carelessly. They had to use the life pod to enter Li Xiaoxia's dreams, hoping to obtain the crucial password. But no matter how many cycles, they gained nothing. After hearing this, Li Xiaoxia thought and said, I might know the password. The dream has been hinting at it all along, hasn't it? It's this repeating day, March 29th, 2019. Li Xiaoxia had always wondered why the dream made her keep reliving this day. Now she finally understood. This was the day she and Xiang Ming first met. It was a very special day for both of them. But won't Li Xiaoxia return to her comatose state after the car accident once the password is entered correctly? Xiang Ming averted his gaze helplessly. That's right. The external life pod can't be used multiple times, or it will reversely drain Li Xiaoxia's current life force. If the dream state continues, Li Xiaoxia will never wake up. Li Xiaoxia couldn't bear to see Xiang Ming so distressed. She comforted him. Being able to see you and hug you again during this time has been my greatest wish. Xiang Ming pulled Xiaoxia into his arms, promising, Trust me, I won't let you sleep for too long. No matter the cost, I will cure you. In Xiang Ming's embrace, Li Xiaoxia said, I believe in you. You must believe I will wake up. Time passed to 6 months later. Xiang Ming was organizing things in Li Xiaoxia's hospital room. Every day for the past 6 months, he had been waiting for Li Xiaoxia to open her eyes. Today, it seemed his wish would come true. I've kept you waiting, Xiang Ming. He quickly turned his head. He found his love had opened her eyes. From then on, every day, the two would stay together, never to part again.